You are not losing because you are not smart. You are losing because you keep talking. You keep explaining yourself like a defendant. You keep answering every message like you are on payroll. You keep trying to be clear so nobody misunderstands you. That is the training. Useful, obedient, agreeable, safe. The kind of man people like to keep around because you never make them uncomfortable. And the moment they feel comfortable, they start managing you. Look at the pattern. At work, your manager drops a vague line like, "We need someone more proactive." You feel the heat. You rush to defend your value. You list what you did. You send a long message with timestamps. You volunteer for extra tasks. You think you are proving loyalty. What you're doing is begging for approval. You stepped into their court. You handed them authority. Now they are evaluating you, and you are trying to pass. In relationships, she pulls back for a day, short replies, cold tone, no explanation. You feel the grip in your chest. You try to fix it fast. You ask, "Are we okay?" You send a paragraph. You offer plans. You apologize for things you did not even do. You think you are being mature. You are being controlled. You accepted her frame. You turned her mood into your emergency. With friends or family, someone throws a casual insult in a group chat. Relax, it is just a joke. Everyone watches your reaction. If you laugh too much, you look weak. If you defend yourself, you look insecure. If you argue, you look emotional. You start typing. You start explaining. You start negotiating respect. That is the moment you lose it. Most men are trained to talk their way back into safety. They were raised to be nice, which usually means easy to pressure. They think being understood is the same as being respected. It does not. Being respected means you are not easily moved. Machiavelli understood something you were never taught. Power does not announce itself. Power does not plead. Power does not rush. Power waits. Power lets the other person reveal themselves. And in modern life, your silence is the cleanest weapon you have because it forces people to face the fear they were distracting themselves from. Psychological warfare begins when you go silent, not childish silence, not passive-aggressively silent, strategic silence, controlled silence, the kind of silence that tells people, "You do not control my attention," the kind of silence that tells people, "Your frame does not run my nervous system." The kind of silence that makes them feel the loss of access. You are about to hear realities you will not like. You will hear why your explanations make you weaker. You will hear why your availability makes you cheaper. You will hear why your emotions are being harvested. You will hear why the one who speaks first often loses. And you will hear why Machiavelli's name still matters, not as history, but as permission to see people as they are. I'm going to give you 6 power shifts, 6 reversals that flip the pressure back onto them. If you can handle it, you will feel your spine return. If you cannot handle it, you will call it toxic and leave, because that word is what the controls use to protect their comfort. Most viewers will leave. They want content that pets them. They want reassurance. They want morality as a blanket. You are not here for that. Stay if you want leverage. Leave if you want to keep being managed. Put your phone face down and listen. If this hit you, write, "I am the strategist" once in the comments, just to mark the day your mindset changed. Here is the first reversal. You think communication solves tension. In reality, communication often rewards disrespect. A coworker undermines you in a meeting, not openly, subtle. They cut you off. They correct you. They laugh when you speak. You feel the social threat. You feel your status being tested, so you respond with clarification. You add more words. You try to sound reasonable. You act like you are collaborating. Do you think the group will see you as a professional? What the group sees is you adjusting. You accepted their frame. You let their behavior define your energy. In any social environment, the person who makes others adjust holds leverage. When you start defending yourself, you are signaling that their opinion can move you. You are signaling that you need the room to validate yourself. You are signaling dependence. That is blood in the water. What feels good is weak. What feels good is clearing it up. What feels good is making sure nobody misreads you. What feels good is staying above it. But that is just fear of conflict dressed up as maturity. The effective move is cold. It is silence combined with a decision. Silence does not mean you do nothing. Silence means you stop feeding the game. You let the moment hang. You let the room feel the tension they created. You let them sit with it. Then you respond with one line, or you do not respond at all. You make them carry the weight. Imagine the co-worker cuts you off again. You stop speaking. You look at them. You hold eye contact. You do not smile. You do not rush to continue. You pause long enough for everyone to notice. Then you say, finish. That is it. 2 syllables. Calm. Dominant. You did not argue. You did not explain. You did not chase the flaw. You made them own the interruption. Now they have 2 choices. They either keep talking and look aggressive, or they back off and look exposed. Either way, you forced a reveal. That is Machiavellian, not because it is cruel, but because it is accurate. The goal is not harmony. The goal is position. Most men cannot do this because their identity is built on being liked. Being liked is a rented power. It can be taken at any moment. Respect is owned power. It is harder to take because it is built on boundaries. Silence is a boundary without begging. Silence says, I do not negotiate my frame. Silence says, I do not need to be approved to exist here. And when you do speak, you speak like a verdict, not a plea. Second reversal. You think replying fast proves strength. In reality, speed is a confession of need. Look at your phone behavior. Someone with status messages, you, your boss, a woman you want, a friend who always dominates the group. Your brain spikes. You reply instantly. You think you're being responsive. You think you're showing interest. You are showing availability, and availability is not the same as value. The attention economy is not a metaphor. It is a hierarchy. The person who can delay you controls you. The person who can make you wait is above you at that moment. When you reply instantly, you are telling them you have priority access to my time. You are handing them authority over your attention. Common behavior creates weakness. You keep the conversation alive even when they are lazy. You ask questions. You send updates. You double text. You feel silent because silence makes you anxious. That anxiety is the leash. They do not even need to pull it. You pull it yourself. What feels good is quick reassurance. What feels good is the immediate reply that calms your nerves. What feels good is staying connected. What feels effective is distance. What feels effective is making people earn access to you. You do not need to announce it. You do not need to play hard to get. You simply stop performing. You stop being easy. Here is what this looks like in a relationship. She sends a message designed to test you. K, whatever. You do you. The average man panics. He tries to decode. He tries to fix it. He tries to win back warmth. He writes an essay. He asks for a call. He offers emotional labor. He turns her mood into his mission. He hands her authority. You go silent. Not forever. Long enough to make the message fail. Long enough to show you do not chase cryptic behavior. Then, when you speak with clarity. Let me know when you want to talk normally. One line, no anger, no begging, no debate. Now watch the mechanism. If she were using coldness as a form of control, it would stop working. She either comes back with respect or she escalates. If she escalates, she reveals that the goal was power, not connection. Your silence forces the truth to surface. Machiavelli's lens is simple. People test what they can get away with. They respect what they cannot move. When you reply instantly and emotionally, you teach them that pressure works on you. When you hold silence and clarity, you teach them that pressure fails. This is not about being cruel. This is about refusing to be trained. Every time you reward disrespect with attention, you are training them to disrespect you more. Every time you reward mystery with chasing, you are training them to keep you anxious. Silence breaks the training loop. Third, reversal. You think explaining your intentions makes you safe. In reality, explanations give ammunition. This one destroys men because they think honesty is a shield. It is not. In power dynamics, information is leverage. The moment you explain too much, you expose your motives, your insecurities, your priorities, and people use that to steer you. At work, you request a raise. You say, "I have been working hard and my rent is high and I feel like I deserve it." You think you are being human. You just handed them a target. Now they know you are under pressure. They know you need money. They know you want validation. They can delay you. They can give you praise instead of pay. They can promise next quarter. They can keep you hungry. The strong move is not an emotional explanation. The strong move is in position. My output has increased. My responsibilities have expanded. This is the number that matches the role. Calm, clean, no personal story. In relationships, you feel guilty for setting a boundary. You say, "I am sorry. I am just stressed. I do not mean to be distant. I really care about you." You think you are softening the impact. You are exposing your fear of losing them. Now they know that if they punish you with withdrawal, you will scramble. You handed them authority. The effective move is to be silent first, then set a boundary. "I am not available tonight. Period." If they push, you do not debate. I said no. The more you explain, the more you invite negotiation. Negotiation is where your authority dies. This is the moral inversion. What feels good is being understood. What feels good is showing your heart. What feels good is giving context so nobody can accuse you. That is a weakness. It is courtroom behavior. You become a suspect in your own life. The cold move is to stop standing trial. You are not here to be approved. You are here to choose. The moment you start choosing, people who relied on your compliance will call you changed. They will say you became distant. They will say you are acting differently. Of course, you are acting differently. You stopped being manageable. Machiavelli would not tell you to be emotional. He would tell you to be effective. He would tell you to understand that humans respond to consequences, not speeches. The fewer words you use, the fewer handles they have on you. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is control of information. Silence is refusing to disclose your motives. Silence is making others move first. Silence is making them show their hand while you keep yours hidden. Fourth, reversal. You think confronting disrespect is strength. In reality, confronting often upgrades them. Men love confrontation because it feels masculine, it feels direct, it feels like action. But most confrontations are reactive. Most confrontation is you stepping into their court. Most confrontation is you giving them a stage. A friend disrespects you in public, you turn serious. You say, "Do not talk to me like that." Everyone watches. Now the moment is about you being offended. They smirk. They say, "Bro, I was joking." Now if you push, you look sensitive. If you back off, you look weak. You accepted their frame. The frame was, you are the one who cannot handle it. The stronger move is to ruin the reward. The reward they wanted was your reaction. They wanted attention. They wanted the group energy. They wanted to feel power by moving you. So you go quiet. You look at them like they are slow. You let the silence sit. Then you continue the conversation with someone else. Or you get up and leave without drama. You do not punish with anger. You punish by removing access. That is real dominance, because you are not asking for respect. You are acting like respect is required for access to you. In a relationship, she tests boundaries with a subtle jab. You are always so intense. It sounds playful, but it is a poke. If you defend, you look insecure. If you laugh, you accept the jab. The strategic move is to pause and say, "Do not speak to me like that." Then silence. No argument, no smile, no extra words. You do not ask if she agrees. You state reality. If she respects it, the dynamic improves. If she pushes, she reveals her intention. Either way, you learn the truth. Silence is how you gather truth. Common behavior creates weakness because men try to fix perception. They chase the group's approval. They want to be seen as cool, so they tolerate disrespect. They tolerate small violations. They tolerate jokes that are not jokes. And over time, the group learns your price. Your price is discomfort avoidance. They pay it with little jabs, and you pay them with compliance. Machiavelli would call you naive if you think good intentions protect you. People do not protect what they do not fear losing. If you are always available, always forgiving, always ready to talk it out, you are not respected. You are used. Silence is how you refuse to be used without starting a scene. Silence is how you remove your energy from their game. Silence is how you tell the room, I do not need to win arguments. I decided to get access. Fifth reversal. You think being emotionally open creates intimacy. In reality, premature vulnerability is a bargaining chip they will spend later. This is the part men hate because it sounds cynical. Good. Cynicism is often clarity without the lie. You tell someone your fears. You tell them what hurts you. You tell them your weak spots. You think you are building trust. Maybe you are giving them a map. When the dynamic shifts, they will use it. At work, you tell your manager you struggle with competence. You think they will support you. Later, when you negotiate, they remind you that you are still developing. They keep you in a junior frame. You handed them authority over your identity. In a relationship, you tell her you fear abandonment. You think it will bring you closer. Later, during the conflict, she goes quiet. She withdraws affection. She delays replies, and your nervous system collapses because she found the lever. You gave it to her. Silence is protection. Silence is not fear. Silence is not fear. Common behavior creates weakness because men confuse honesty with strategy. They think that if they show enough sincerity, people will treat them well. That is the training again. Be good, and the world will reward you. That is a child's bargain. Adults trade leverage. The moral inversion is brutal. What feels good is opening up. What feels good is telling your story. What feels good is being seen. What is effective is holding back until trust is proven through behavior, not words. Machiavelli would not praise your openness. He would ask, what does this information cost you? He would ask, who benefits from knowing this? He would ask, do they deserve it? And if they do not, you stay silent. This does not mean you become a robot. It means you become disciplined. You do not hand out weapons and then act surprised when someone uses them. Silence also tests people. When you stop oversharing, manipulators get uncomfortable. They need data, they need access, they need to read you so they can steer you. When you go quiet, they cannot predict. When they cannot predict, they cannot control. When they cannot control, they either respect you or they leave. Either outcome is a win. Sixth reversal. You think winning is convincing them. In reality, winning is making them adjust without you having to ask. This is frame warfare. This is where silence becomes psychological warfare. A person tries to put you in a frame. They say, "Why are you so quiet?" That question is not a curiosity. It is an attempt to define you. The implied accusation is that you are weird, insecure, hostile, or arrogant. The goal is to make you explain yourself. The goal is to put you on defense. The goal is to make you perform. If you answer with a justification, you lose. I am just tired. I am thinking. I am not mad. Now you're explaining your existence. You're being evaluated instead of evaluating. The dominant move is to refuse the frame. You look at them and say, "I am fine," then silence. Or you say, "I speak when I have something to say," then silence. No smile, no apology. You are not asking permission to be quiet. Another frame attack is guilt. You never make time for me. The average man rushes to prove love. He starts listing his schedule. He starts explaining stress. He starts promising. He hands her the authority to judge his life. He enters her court. You do not debate guilt. You set terms. I make time when it makes sense. If that is not enough, choose what you want. Calm, then silence. Now the pressure is on her to decide, not on you to beg. At work, a boss says, "If you were committed, you would stay late." That is a frame. It is loyalty manipulation, the weak man explains. The weak man argues for fairness. The weak man says he has a life. Now the boss knows exactly what to attack. You respond with a position. My performance is measured by results, not by staying late. Then silence. If they push, you repeat. Same line, same calm tone, no extra words. Repetition is not stubbornness. Repetition is frame control. You are not negotiating reality with someone who benefits from your confusion. Silence is how you stop them from finding new angles to attack. Every extra sentence is a door. Close the doors. This is the Machiavellian core. You do not win by being right. You win by controlling the terms. You win by controlling access. You win by controlling attention. You win by controlling your reactions. Most men are predictable because they react. Predictability is easy to manage. Silence breaks predictability. Silence creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates caution. Caution creates respect. Now listen closely. This is where most men misuse silence. They use it as punishment while still craving approval. That is not power. That is needed in disguise. Strategic silence is not a tantrum. It is not a performance. It is not a test. It is simply you withdrawing your energy because it is yours. You are not obligated to fill every gap with words. You are not obligated to rescue every awkward moment. You are not obligated to keep the connection alive when the other person is disrespectful, lazy, or manipulative. When you go silent, you are not disappearing. You are repositioning. The moment you stop reacting, people start projecting. They imagine what you think. They imagine what you will do. They fill the silence with their own fear and their own guilt. This is psychological warfare because you are no longer providing them comfort. You are letting their mind attack itself. That is why silence works. It lets them create the pressure. You just refuse to relieve it. You have seen it before. When you stop replying to someone who used to have unlimited access, they suddenly become polite. They suddenly ask how you are. They suddenly want to meet, not because they love you, because your silence threatens their control. When you stop over-explaining at work, people start listening more. They start asking fewer questions. They start treating your words as scarce, not because you became smarter, because you became harder to move. When you stop chasing in relationships, the dynamic shifts. Either she steps up or she exposes herself as someone who needs you beneath her to feel safe. In both cases, your silence saved you from illusion. Here is the integration. If you ignore this, you will become socially invisible. Not literally invisible. Functionally invisible. Functionally invisible. You will be the man people talk about. The man they forget to invite, the man they call when they need something, the man they tolerate because you are useful. You will be managed instead of respected. You will feel it in small humiliations, being interrupted, being teased, being given last-minute plans, being offered scraps, being told you are too sensitive when you object, being told you are overthinking when you notice patterns. You will start doubting your perception. That is how control works. It turns your awareness into guilt. Your constant communication is part of that control, because every time you explain, you accept their right to judge you. Every time you react, you accept their right to set the pace. Every time you seek approval, you accept their right to define your value. Silence reverses it. Silence makes them feel the risk of losing you. Silence makes them recalibrate. Silence makes them wonder if they crossed a line. Silence makes them face the possibility that you are not owned. Distance creates authority because it signals independence. Scarcity creates value because it signals selectiveness. When your attention is not guaranteed, your presence becomes an event. When your words are not endless, your words carry weight. This is not cruelty. These are not games. This is realism. The world is full of people who will take as much access as you give. They will take your time. energy, attention, and emotional labor, not because they are evil, but because they are human. Machiavelli did not hate humans, he saw them. He saw that fear of loss shapes behavior more than speeches about fairness. So you operate accordingly. You stop donating your attention. You stop donating your explanations. You stop donating your emotional reaction. Silence creates fear in people who rely on controlling you. That fear is useful. It makes them behave. It makes them choose their words. It makes them treat you carefully. You do not need to threaten. You do not need to raise your voice. Your silence is the threat, because it implies you can walk away without drama. And walking away is the ultimate leverage. Not leaving in a panic, leaving in calm certainty, leaving as a consequence, not as a plea. You will notice something when you adopt this. People will try to pull you back into their frame. They will accuse you of being cold. They will say you are playing games. They will say you are acting superior. Those words are not an analysis. Those words are protests. They are the sound of someone losing influence. If you get defensive, you lose again. You explain, you justify, you soften, you hand authority back. You do not do that. You stay calm, you stay simple, you stay silent when there is nothing to add. You let their accusations die in the air. This is what it means to be psychologically dominant. You do not need to win every conversation. You need to control your investment. You need to control your attention. You need to control your reactions. That control is your masculinity, not the loud kind, the quiet kind, the kind that makes other people adjust. Now the closing. You are not here to become a monk. You are here to become unmovable. You learned the reality. Talking is not power. Talking is often surrender. Explaining is often begging. Fast replies are often needed. Confrontation is often a stage you give to disrespect. Vulnerability without proof is often a weapon you hand over. And stepping into other people's frames is how you become manageable. Silence is how you regain authority. Silence is how you refuse evaluation. Silence is how you force yourself. Silence is how you protect information. Silence is how you create scarcity. Silence is how you stop reacting and start choosing. Here is the real-world challenge. For the next 7 days, stop answering every bait. Stop replying fast to people who do not earn it. Stop explaining boundaries. State them once, then silence. When someone tries to frame you, do not argue. Use one clean line, then silence. Let the discomfort sit on them. Let them carry it. You will feel the withdrawal. You will feel the urge to fix it. That urge is the chain. Do not touch it. If you get value from this, like the video, subscribe, and send it to a man who still thinks talking will save him. If this hit you, write "I am the strategist" once in the comments, just to mark the day your mindset changed. Now close this video and move like someone who cannot be managed.